that's why I think that we still have all the chances, because as the economists explained, capitalism has no answer to its crisis, has no answer to its problems, and it is only on socialism, it is only on us as communist activists that we can have these answers. And class struggle is still sharp, and revolutions will explode everywhere. That's why I think first we should organize. Organization is the main mission, to organize within revolutionary parties, to organize within committees, to organize within fronts, to organize within international organizations, to get ready for revolution. That's the first opportunity, and to catch that means we have the opportunity to organize, and that's the first mission. Second, we have, as I said, to change our methods and our mechanisms of struggle. We should be as creative as possible, and this means that we should be as close to workers as possible, because the closer we are to workers, the more efficient our action will be, and the more attention we will pay to the problems of workers, the more attention the workers and people will pay to our programs and to our parties, and the more efficient our action will be, and the closer we will be to the power that we can catch if we change our practice. As I said, this step, for example, which is the committee, is one of the clear and tangible examples that we can also, as we lost opportunities, we are able to catch opportunities. This step can be considered as a small step, but I consider it, me as coming from Tunis to Stockholm here, to arrange and to organize with my comrades and to discuss, as a huge step in the path of organization and in the path of getting closer to these workers, to these prisoners, if we organize campaigns of support and of solidarity to this comrade in the prison, Comrade Bahram. I think, although it seems to be simple for one person, but it is huge, because it gets closer to this prisoner, it gets closer to this worker, and thus we will get closer to the Iranian workers and to the Iranian movement, and we will be able to defeat whether the Iranian fascist regime or the other bourgeoisie reactionary movements. And hence, organization, changing our tactics are the main methods to catch the new opportunities.
Thank you very much, Hatem. We've got somebody, Karim here. You want to ask a question?
Yeah. من راستش یه خبری داشتم، بعدا حمید میتونه جواب بده. اونم در مورد چیزه، صحبت کردی که خیلی از بخشا باید بگن سوسیالیسم. من یه خبری داشتم و یک اینترویو خوندم در رابطه با یکی از نمایندگان سرمایه‌داری آلمان به اسم ویلی وینر. اونجا اینجوری گفته، اخطار داده، گفته تمام سرمایه‌داری دنیا همه‌شون جنگ افروز نیستن. یک بخشی از اونا به این نتیجه رسیدن که به هر حال دست از جنگ افروزی بردارن. بعداً از روزا لوکزامبورگ اسم برده. خودش هم از نمایندگان سرمایه‌داری آلمان و خیلی هم نقش داشته. گفته 99 سال قبل روزا لوکزامبورگ گفته یا سوسیالیسم یا بربریت. حالا باید سرمایه‌داری دنیا باید چشمشو باز بکنه، یعنی به اون بخشایی گفته که جنگ افروز نیستن و کسانی که صلح طلب هستن و کارگران اینجوری اسم برده. یعنی باید فکری بکنیم وگرنه جامعه داره میپاشه، کلاپس میکنه و سیویلیزاسیون از بین میره. بعدا من میخواستم سوالم اینه، مثلا این صحبتی که ویلی وینر کرده و اینجوری گفته، مثلا خیلی برای بود راستش. یعنی مثلا یک بخش یک نماینده سرمایه‌داری اینجوری میاد یه باید یک کاری بکنی و دوباره تأکید میکنه روی حرف روزا لوکزامبورگ، سوسیالیسم یا بربریسم. یعنی در واقع سرمایه‌داری تا حالا بربریسم رو بالا آورده و پروبال بهش داده و یک فکری به حال جامعهش میکنه. این بود سوال میگفتم اگر خاصی به توضیح بدید.
Okay, thanks a lot, Karim. I'll just translate what Karim said. Karim said that he recently saw a piece of news and an interview with a German capitalist called Willy Raymer. And in the interview, Willy Raymer said that not all the capitalists are warmongers. And he was actually talking to them and putting a question to them, saying that with the German history, we had Rosa Luxemburg, who at one point said that there's either of two ways, two solutions, either socialism or barbarism, that famous saying of Rosa Luxemburg. And he said that with all this happening now, we are facing a social collapse of society. So he was, in a sense, advising the less warmongering sections of capitalism and the bourgeoisie to do something about it before there is a collapse into barbarism. So Karim is putting this question to Hamid Tagway.
Actually, I don't think it was a question. You just asked for my comment. I see your idea. But it's not only that guy. I just heard of him now. Maybe whatever. There are so many others that are saying the same thing. That the status quo, we cannot go on with that. We have to do something. We have to change. And most of them referring to even Marx, not Rosa Luxemburg. You know the guy you heard of, Thomas Piketty, who wrote the bestseller book on state of affair of capitalism today. It's called The Capital of the 21st Century. And many bourgeois media and governments and academics, they call him today's Marx of 21st century. He's no Marx, of course. But the point is that his main issue, his main concept in the book is inequality. As he says, between the income that originates from capital and income that originates from work. He's not talking about the working class, capitalist class. But the definition is good enough. It says those people who have their income from their capital. By capital means you have a house even, you get rent, you have a factory, you get interest, you have some saving account in the bank, or any income from that the origin is not labor, comes from somewhere. And labor not only working class, but even somebody who works for government or middle class. And he says, he proves that part of the income of the world grows much faster than the income of the second part, despite the fact that the second part is the producer of every wealth in the world. That's his point. And then what's the solution? More taxes, welfare state, that sort of thing. And again, he proves that the world is going to explode. You cannot go on like that. It's not possible to go on like that. We have to do something. And it's not only him. There are so many other people. There is a guy, a multi-billionaire American, Buffett, somebody, his family name is Buffett, and he's saying the same thing. He's humanist capitalists. They call them humanist capitalists. That they believe that we have to do something, we have to change, otherwise we cannot go on. Of course, the main concern is their own power. The political and economical power of their own class. Of course, they are worried about that. But the thing is that they said this way, even austerity a policy, they don't agree with that. You shouldn't. Even Obama said something like this. Austerity doesn't work anymore. You have to do something. So it means that, you know, the other point on that book is that after 70s in the last century, the economy went down. We had one period of booming in capitalist history from the World War II, Second World War, to the 70s, for maybe 30 years. And that, he says that's the exception. That's the only period that difference between the labor camp and capital camp, it doesn't improve, it goes closer to each other. That's the only those three decades. And that's because of the war. They destroyed the whole war, and they were rebuilding it, so they had some sort of booming economy. And after that, everything is going down. And it says that difference between the income of capitalist source income and the labor source income gets bigger and bigger, and it cannot go on like that. It says the society stops. Nothing works anymore one day. And we have to do something before we get to that point. So that's what that's the fact of their life, when they confess to that. And again, I go back to my point. What is missing here? If that's the case, why we go from Arab Springs to Daesh, to ISIS, and not from Arab Springs to common scaling power? Why is that? Because political working class is absent. That's the only reason. Everything is ready for socialist revolution. Everything is ready, except us, except working class. Everything else is ready.
I just mentioned that if any of our panel members would like to comment on any of the questions that are being raised, yes, sure. Please do so. If not, do you want to say? We can go to the next question or
My comment about the absence of the working class as a political movement. For example, after 1991, the collapse of Soviet Union. In Iraq, we had established in 1993 the Worker Communist Party. In Iran, we established Worker Communist Party of Iran. And we are now, that was in 20th century. We are in the 21st century, and I hear from the leader of the Worker Communist Party, the worker movement as a political movement is absent. The question, what's your strategy to change that situation? Your comment, have you any comment about your strategy and program in the last like a decade? You continue that way forever?
Thanks for that. Do you want to comment now, or that's a question to Hamid? Or do you want me to take a question from the floor? I'll take a question now, and then we can answer both. Yeah, please.
سوال من اینه دوستان که تو پانل نشستن از مصر تا تونس همگی به این رابطه‌ای در ارتباط با انقلاباتی که تو کشورها رخ داده اشاره کردن. همگی موقعیتی که جنبش کارگری، جنبش اعتراض توده‌ای چقدر اوج گرفت و تونست حتی با آمار اعتصاب و اعتراضات کارگری نشون دادن. همه نشون دادن که به هر حال اون نیرویی که عملا رژیم‌های دولت‌ها رو به زیر کشید همین نیروی انقلابی چپ و سوسیالیست‌ها بود و همگی در این مشترک بودن که یه ضعف اساسی نبودن یه رهبری برای پیشبرد امر انقلاب بود. انقلاب مردم رو پیشبرد از دست می‌داد. سوال من از کل پانل دوست دارم هر چیزی رو سمت جواب بدن. امروز برای امروز برای جواب به اون سوال اساسی، برای نبود اون رهبری، هر کدوم از اونا چه راه حلی رو پیشنهاد می‌کنن؟ حاتم از نزدیکی بیشتر به
Yeah, I got your question. Thanks very much.
همگی به این حاتم به این نکته اشاره کرد که تلاش میکنن به کارگران نزدیکتر بشن و سری اقداماتی از این بود. آیا این میتونه اون رهبری رو تامین بکنه؟ تو مصر ما با آمار اعتصابات دیدیم که از سال 2003 با آمار نزدیک به 30-40 اقتصاد کارگری به 500 اقتصاد کارگری و اعتراضات خیابانی مردم در به چالش کشیدن قدرت سیاسی اونجا رسیدیم. ولی به هر حال به قول نبود اون رهبری این موقع ایجاد نکرد که انقلاب رو توی از دست می‌داد. چه کار باید کرد که همچین تاریخی تکرار بشه؟
Okay, thanks for that. A question from Asad Nordinian to all the speakers. So any or all of you could comment on this, please. And Asad's question is really about this. And he says the speakers talked about the revolutions in the Middle East and North Africa, about the workers' struggles. Even we had very good figures of workers' strikes, the number of workers' strikes rising in Egypt, for example. And for example, Hatem mentioned that a solution could be or should be getting closer to the working class, to workers. And he suggested that as a way out, as a solution, answer to this sort of situation, why we missed those opportunities, why we were not successful. But if that was the case, we have had, for example, in Egypt, a very large number of workers' strikes, as Hoda gave the statistics. So what is the solution then? We have had workers' strikes, we've had workers' movement, but still we have not been successful. So what are your solutions and answers to this issue? So any...
In fact, I don't have an answer, but I have something like analyzing the situation, because the situation in Egypt that we have been for decades without any experience with trade unions or experience with political parties, because from 1952 until now we don't have political experience, because we only have one party under different names, with Gamal Abdel Nasser, with Sadat, and also with Mubarak. So people in Egypt are not used to experience political matters, and also in trade unions. The only idea of the trade union is that help the worker to go to Saudi Arabia to make a pilgrim, to go in summer to the beach, to take some goods with reduced prices, but everything, but not struggling for the basic rights, social or political. We are like the baby getting now in the world with no experience at all. So this is analyzing what we are trying to do. Even for 3 years after the revolution, there are no parties, there are no trade unions. Even the independent trade unions, it's just like a rehearsal of something. It's not, it's just trying to hold a thread, but without any experience, without any background. So we are in a very big chaos. Even the people who were in the left parties underground, because they were not real. You were discussing with each other in closed rooms without light, the daylight. And when they were in the daylight of the revolution, you couldn't see anything. So I think we need a lot of times, we need to do a lot of thoughts to learn step by step. So we are just a beginner. I don't understand, excuse me, the very complicated discussions of political matters or what's socialism, what is imperialism. But I've been 3 years in the streets. I spent the first year of the revolution confused, completely lost, completely in the street without knowing anything, just watching. And when I get the chance to be with the workers, I found out that really they are the answer, but they don't know anything. They are studying and knowing step by step. Maybe we have 10 years of wave after wave of the revolution. From every wave you will have a lesson and accumulate things with each others to get to an awareness, to change your vision from the daily demands of bigger salaries to policies. This is a very huge step. We can't do it until now, so we need a lot of time.
Anyone else of the panel? And do you want to answer Akram's question?
If I remember the whole thing. I think the main point in his question is if you have a worker communist party already for 20 years, so you are in political scene. What you've done, what's the achievement? Yeah, that's the question I think. Yeah, okay, look,